Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, 1 year on, an update on my wardrobe. I just recently posted last year's clip showing my fragrances, and this year I was about due for a new one. So I'm going to start off by showing you my fragrances, but we're going to go into a bit of a time machine, and I'm going to show you all my newest releases going back to the oldest releases. So this is not my oldest bottles, just the year that these perfumes were released. So I'm going to start off with these two because I don't actually know or can't find out when these were released. The one on the right there is from Santa Maria Novella. This one is Opoponax. And knowing how old Santa Maria Novella actually is, this Opoponax perfume, it could possibly be the oldest release in my collection, but I'm not sure. That one on the left, I'm pretty safe in saying that if you're watching this video, I may be the only person you know that owns that perfume. This is called Number 4 Guvano by Gocce de Byron. Now, the reason this is hard to get is it's actually only sold in a couple of outlets, and they're all basically in Cinque Terre, which is on the Italian Riviera. So I found this one almost by accident when I was there a few years ago, went into this perfumery, and Number 4 has become basically my favorite fig scent. It's to me, it's really a representation of the whole fig tree, branches, leaves, fruit, on a base of like blonde woods and a little bit of spice, and it's a gorgeous summer scent. That's Number 4 Guvano. Okay, so we're moving on to 2022 releases. I won't talk about these four too much because I've done videos, and anyone who's been watching me here or following me on Instagram knows these are the 4 Miscao perfumes. We've got left to right Dame, Pistil, Brum and Épice on the right. Moving on, so they were all released in 2022. Now, this is from 2020. I believe it's my most meaningful relationships. It's from Filigree in Shadow. And what do I have to say about this? It is probably, well, it is my favorite petrichor-based perfume. It's just absolute stunning perfume, especially on warm days with a cloudy, almost rain-threatening sort of atmosphere. But it's just a really beautiful petrichor perfume. Okay, now we're going to move to 2017. I have 4 fragrances from that year, all I consider really, really, really good at a very minimum anyway. That is the reformulated Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum from 2017. I have Tabac Vert from Rogue Perfumery, which is, to me, it's a little bit misleading. It's not exactly, I don't consider it a tobacco perfume. It's definitely a musky carnation dominant perfume with probably, if the tobacco's there, I would describe it more as a sort of green tobacco. Gucci Guilty Absolute, one of my favorite leather perfumes, and the very, I think, underrated Woody Mood by Olfactive Studios. Okay, 2016, we have my first Chanel Les Exclusifs, Boy Chanel, and Floris 1962 by the House of Floris, of course. Now, I think that 1962 has been discontinued, but I can't confirm that for sure. Beautiful cypress, green, aromatic, woody perfume in, I guess, the spirit of something like Tom Ford's Italian Cypress. 2015, we have Equipage Geranium from Hermès and L'Homme Idéal Cologne from Guerlain, now discontinued as well. That Ideal has become one of my favorite sort of no-brainer summer perfumes. And of course, Equipage Geranium is basically always in my top 5 perfumes. Moving on to 2014, we have the Venerable New York Intense from Nikolai and Helmut Lang Eau de Parfum. Now, this is a 2014 re-release or version. It is just one of the most gorgeous orange blossom, musky, lavender, heliotrope perfumes. Musk done in only the way Maurice Roussel can do. It's just a stunning perfume. 2013, I have a solo scent from 2013. This is Anat Fritz Classical, Vetiver, Patchouli, Lavender, essentially. But tell you what, it is one of, I've said this before, it could be in my top for perfumes for either Vetiver, Lavender or Patchouli categories. Moving on to 2012, this is the most represented year in terms of the amount of bottles from that year that I own. Now, I have Afternoon of a Fawn from État Libre d'Orange. We have Musc Tonkin from Parfum d'Empire. Seville à l'Aube from Lattice and Parfumeur. Habernita Eau de Parfum from Molinard. And I've put Ensemble Mythique from Guerlain in this year, even though that particular bottle was released in 2019. The original Ensemble Mythique in the rectangular bottles was released in 2012, but given that I think the juice is pretty much the same, I've put it in this release here. Not that it really matters, of course. Okay, 2011, I have another Parfum d'Empire. This is Azemor Les Orangers. This is a beautiful orange tree chypre. To me, really the magic of this perfume is the oak moss in the dry down. Have Prada, my one and only Prada, Amber Porom Intense, and of course the beautiful Diptyque 34 Boulevard Saint-Germain. Moving on to 2010, the year of our Lord Aventus, and I have 3 perfumes here. The beautiful and will shortly be very sadly missed Absolu pour le Soir from Maison Francis Kirkjohn. We have Barry Lyndon from Maria Candida Gentile, and Sartorio, my favorite fougere from Penhaligon's. 2009, so we've changed decades now. We have Patchouli Noble, my favorite patchouli scented perfume, and Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum from Guerlain, of course. From 2008, one of my all-time favorites, 1740 Marquis de Sade from Histoire de Parfum. Now, I don't have any from 2007, so we move on to 2006, and I have my favorite vanilla Eau de Beau from L'Occitane and Zonka from Lattice and Parfumeur. You might have noticed that Bertrand Duchefort features pretty heavily in this wardrobe. Moving on to 2005, I have the 2005 reissue of Guerlain Derby, or Derby, and Ombre Russe from Parfum d'Empire, a long time staple amber in my collection. 2004, the perfume that kind of started my whole journey, so to speak, is Timbuktu from Lattice, and my most newly acquired bottle, Au Noir from Dior. That's the original 2004 green juice version, and Two Man from Comme des Garçons, one of my favorite incense perfumes. 2002, we have my sandalwood cologne from Geo F. Trumper. This is one of probably only one or two or maybe 3 purchases that I've actually made this year, and this is one of my newer bottles as well. From 2001, we have Mugler Cologne from Mugler. This is my only Mugler at the moment, but I love this in really, really hot weather. All right, we are into the 90s now. From 1999, I have my favorite warm weather fougere, I guess, as opposed to sartorial, which I prefer in colder weather. This is Patrick from Fragrances of Ireland, and the gorgeous grapefruit and floral genius that is Pampelune from Aqua Allegoria line from Guerlain. 1998, Jean-Claude Hellena's masterpiece Cartier, Declaration. From now, we've skipped a lot of the 90s, so I don't have a lot of 90s perfume. From 1992, have Héritage, EDT from Guerlain. And from 1990, the beautiful Egoist from Chanel. Now, this bottle of Rochas Femme, there was a version released in 1989 that Olivier Cresp did. So I'm putting it in as the 89 version. This is the most current bottle you can buy, so presumably it's closer to 1989 than the original that was released decades earlier. So that's the beautiful Femme. And 1988, probably one of the most significant releases of the 80s, Dior's Fahrenheit. 85 have the beautiful leather Belle Amie from Hermès. And then, sorry, that's 86, Belle Amie. And 85, we have Le Troisième from Caron. I think this has recently been discontinued. And Sable from Annick Goutal. Going to 1981, Chanel Antaeus. And 78, Lagerfeld Classic. This is obviously the most recent bottle. 1976, well into the disco era now, Jovan Sex Appeal. Then we move into the 60s with one of my all-time favorites, Habit Rouge EDT from 1965. From 1959, Guerlain Vetiver. And this is my oldest release in my wardrobe. This bottle is actually from the 80s, but Chanel No. 5 Eau de Cologne from 1921. So, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little tour of my fragrance wardrobe, all laid out on my bed, wrinkly sheet and all. I'll see you all soon. Bye.